Bring class discussions at home with V-Smart School's webinar feature, where you can conduct classes with your students in real time. Setting up a V-Smart webinar is simple. Simply log into your account, go to My Webinars, click Create, and enter your webinar details. Set your webinar to your lesson so your students can join as participants. You can finally start your class. The webinar feature also lets you chat with your students and share slide decks and other learning materials via share screen. Amazing, right? Get V-Smart School and launch your remote learning setup for your school today. Email marketing@vivalgroup.com for more details.
Good day, Kabibal, and welcome to our Facebook Live learning session. For the discussion this morning, the topic will be on pedagogy and facilitating technical and vocational competencies through synchronous and asynchronous learning. Before we begin, take note of the following reminders. First, you have to make sure you are registered to the webinar to have your e-certificate of participation. Visit certificate.vivalgroup.com to generate your proof of attendance. Place your questions on the comment box allotted during the session and they will be addressed by our speaker later on. Share the video using hashtag LearnAs1PH as our official hashtag to our Vival webinars. Experience learning, Kabibal. And now to proceed with our webinar this morning, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker for this morning. Dr. Mary Ann Valentino is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science at Systematic Technology Institute, STI May Kawayan. She took her continuing professional teaching education at Bulacan State University and earned her master's degree in Science and Information Technology at the University of Regina Carmelli. And of course, he earned her PhD degree in major in Educational Leadership Management at La Consolacion University, Philippines. She also has a certificate as a Microsoft Office Specialist, Level 1 and Level 2 HSK Chinese Proficiency Test Confucius Institute, National Tibet Training Certificate for Visual Graphic Design and Computer System Servicing, National Certificate 2 in Visual Graphic Design, Computer System Servicing, and Computer Hardware Servicing and Pastry Making as well. And currently, she is a Master Teacher 1 at Taliptip National High School. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Mary Ann Valentino.
Thank you, Ma'am, for that generous introduction. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Bibal webinar on pedagogy and facilitating technical and vocational competencies through synchronous and asynchronous learning. So let me share my screen. So for this webinar, the outlines are the difference of using synchronous to asynchronous learning of technical and vocational competencies, and advantages and disadvantages of using synchronous and asynchronous learning. In our situation, this is our big challenge, especially in teaching technical vocational or competencies. How we will be able to deliver our lesson to our students or learners, especially during the learning competencies. Exploring online learning through lens of synchronous and asynchronous training approaches can benefit teachers and course designers alike. Knowing the underlying theoretical context is important to understand all aspects of pedagogical teaching. Education theory, as it applies to professional and vocational competencies, encompasses a number of approaches and practices. In the Department of Education or other institution, grade 7 to 8 belongs to exploratory learning. These are the offered technical vocational for grade 7 to 8 or exploratory learning. And for grade 9 to 12, these are the offered specialization in technical vocational. Ensuring the welfare of our learners in the basic education requires indomitable commitment amidst this crisis. Working on the said premise, the Department of Education released the most essential learning competencies to be used nationwide by field implementer for school year 2020 to 2021. Using the most essential learning competencies, it lightened the burden of converting classroom-oriented learning resources into learning resources adapted to distance learning. It will guide the learners as they address the instructional needs of learners while ensuring the curriculum standards are maintained and achieved. The content and performance standards are directly lifted the curriculum guide. This is to emphasize that the identification of most essential learning competencies is anchored on the prescribed standards. All learning areas will still be taken by the learners in all grade levels along with the competency streamlines. The premises to be considered in utilizing the MELPs for teaching technical vocational entrepreneurship is embedded in 4 components. So most essential learning competencies that may too broad would have to be unpacked by the teachers. Sub-learning competencies that are redundant or recurring were removed to satisfy the 8 to 9 week allotment per quarter. For grade 7 to 8 exploratory, there is an option to choose 4 mini courses. In addition to exploratory for grade 7 to 8, MELPs for grade levels are similar to that of grade 4 to grade 6. Now, the question is, paano naman ang specialization na wala sa MELPs? So that will be the biggest challenge for us technical vocational teachers. So the teacher will be guided with the use of curriculum guide. To facilitate the technical vocational competencies, teachers can use the synchronous or asynchronous learning. When we say synchronous, it is the kind of learning that happens in real time. So this means that your students interact with a specific virtual place through a specific online medium at a specific time. So what are the specific online medium that the teachers and students can easily use? So I choose this online medium because I know that the learners and the teachers na mas mapapadali sa kanilang gamitin ang ganitong online platform. So we have the Zoom, the Google Meet, and the Facebook Messenger. So Google Meet or Zoom create video meeting or online virtual class, invite up to 100 participants. While Facebook Messengers, it can only accommodate 50 students or learners or participants. Now, if you have the institutional Gmail account, it is better for you to use it for your online class when you want to use the Google Meet or Zoom. Now, another online platform, we have the key features of Be Smart School. So, Be Smart School provide both educators and learners future-proof learning opportunities that go beyond the classroom experience. So, complete K-12 digital curriculum mapped to Department of Education budgeted teaching and learning calendar. It has also live streaming of virtual classes, self-paced or teacher-paced learning experience for weak internet connection, and then it has also offline mobile application for easier access to pre-uploaded lessons from preschool to senior high school. So it is included with the asynchronous digital classes good for 1 school year. Okay, so use the Be Smart of Bibal. In the Department of Education, so we have the DepEd TV channel. So teachers, learners, and parents can watch the DepEd TV channel. So allow me to demonstrate in order for you to much familiarize with the use of the Google Meet. So if you are the teachers and if you are going to use the Google Meet, so first you must have the Gmail account. So since ako po ay sa DepEd, I use my DepEd Gmail account. So here, as you can see, from the left side of your screen, you will see a start meeting and a join meeting. Pag si start meeting, ikaw, si teacher, ang magiging host ng inyong online class. Okay? And then, join a meeting, si teacher magjo-join sa ibang class or meeting prior na alam niya yung kanyang link for that meeting. So, allow me to demonstrate on how to use it. So, the teachers will click the Start a Meeting. Okay. And then, it will ask you to join now or present. So, since hindi pa naman kayo magpe-present, kaya join now. Now, here in my camera, it is failed because I am using my camera in Zoom. So, click join now. Yan. So, add others dialog box will appear on your screen telling you if you want to copy the joining information of your Google Meet. So you can add people. Okay. So let's say I add and send email. So I send an email invitation from that learners in order for them to be added in that meeting. So hintayin lang po natin na makapasok po sila. Sana pumasok po sila. And then, so while we are waiting for the participants or learners to be added in your meeting, so as you can see, from the lower right side of your screen, you will see a triple dot. Okay. So here, in that triple dot, when you click this, so meron tayo dyang record meeting, change layout, full screen, turn on caption, settings, use phone, or report a problem. So during your class or during your before your class or before your meeting, pwede nyo pong i-record ito. Okay? So pag click po yung record a meeting, yan. And ask for consent dialog box will appear on your screen. Now, before you record your meeting or your online class, please tell to your students or learners that your online class will be recorded. So, para po oriented sila. Okay? So, when you click the accept, okay, then wait for the signal of a sound that it is already recording. So makikita nyo yan from the left side of your screen. Yan. So may narinig na akong tumunog. So from the left side of your screen, naka-red na yung rec or record, meaning to say na nagre-record na yung inyong Google Meet. Okay. Now, we have here the show everyone, wherein you will see the added learners na nakapasok na dito sa inyong Google Meet. Okay? So, dyan nyo po siya makikita. Dyan nyo makikita lahat ng mga inad ninyo. And then, you have also the chat with everyone. Okay. So, sa chat everyone, so learners can message you so while you are discussing your topic or your lesson to them. So dito, paggamit ng Google Meet, madali nang makipag-interact si students. So while the teachers is discussing or demonstrating, so the learners can message the teachers kung saan sila nahirapan na lesson. Okay. Now, from this Google Meet, ang host ay yung teacher. So, yung teacher, ina-allow lang ang mga estudyante na magsalita or he or she will ask the students to mute themselves. Okay, so i-mute muna yung kanilang mga sarili para po habang nagsasalita yung teacher, hindi sabay-sabay, hindi naririnig. Total, ito ay recorded. Okay, so lahat sila nakamute. Okay. Now, si teacher dapat po ay oriented si students na nakikita ang kanilang video. So that si teacher nakikita niya kung ano yung ginagawa ng kanyang mga estudyante. Okay. So important yun. Yan, nakapasok na si Teacher Sai. Welcome, Teacher Sai. Okay. So si Teacher Sai, example na nakapasok na, kunwari as my students. Say hello, Teacher Sai. Okay. Teacher Sai, pwede po mag-message po kayo so that yung ating participants can see how the learners will message their teachers. Hello po, Teacher Mary. Yes po. Ma'am Sai, mag-message nga po kayo sa akin. I-check ko po, ma'am. Yes po. Ayan. Thank you, Teacher Sai. So let's say habang ako ay nagdi-discuss, si teacher nagdi-discuss, nakikita niya yung video ng estudyante niya. So para din tayong nasa classroom. Okay, nakikita ni teacher lahat ng ginagawa ng estudyante. And then, si students din, pwede rin magtanong or mangamusta doon sa teacher. Like Teacher Sai did. Thank you po, Teacher Sai. Thank you po. Okay. Now, dito rin po sa Google Meet, si students can also present their own presentation. Or halimbawa po, kung if you will allow the students to have their whiteboard or yung kanilang mga improvised whiteboard, so pwede rin nilang ipakita sa cam nila yung kanilang magiging sagot or pwede rin nilang i-type through chat box. Okay po? So let's say katulad niyan, halimbawa si Teacher Zai, habang ako ay nagdi-discuss, nag-cellphone. So pwede nyo na rin pagsabihan yung iyong estudyante na, Zai, so please do not use your cellphone while am I discussing. Okay po? Okay. So, stop share na po tayo. Thank you po, Teacher Zai. Okay po. Next. Okay, so let me go back to my presentation. Okay. So, katulad ng demonstrate ko kanina, so si teacher sa kasi estudyante, mas madali sa kanila magagamit si Google Meet. Okay? Just like with our classroom engagement. Okay? Now, in Synchronous, there are advantages and disadvantages. Now, what are those advantages? So, kanina, pwede kayong mag-demonstrate. Okay? So, isa inyong estudyante. So, these are the advantages. Classroom engagement, dynamic learning, instructional depth. So, isa-isahin po natin siya. So, when we say classroom engagement, this is an active discussion, immediate feedback, and personal familiarity that you can only get through real-time interaction. So it is especially important distinction if you're making the transition from the traditional classroom to an online setting. So the personal contact of your learners can get through the live video conferencing, lecture broadcast, or messenger chatting. Okay? So, sa Facebook Messenger, kung dahil 50 learners lang ang kaya niyang i-accommodate, okay din po siya. Kasi si Facebook Messenger, hindi masyadong kumakain ng data. Unlike with the use of Google Meet and Zoom. Next, advantages of using Synchronous in technical vocational learning. So we have the dynamic learning. So video conferencing, for instance, makes it possible to ask questions and receive answers mid-lesson, to discourse and debate with classmates at a brisk and exciting pace. So to collectively drive a conversation into unexpected new direction. So mas madali kay teacher at sa estudyante na makapag-interact with each other. So there is a speed and immediacy to synchronous online learning that as its best. So evokes the same level of accountability and engagement as classroom attendance. So makikita mo na kagad kung sino yung naka-in o nakapasok sa iyong klase. And then we have the instructional depth. So with synchronous online learning, you'll interact regularly and frequently with your teachers or professors. So it provides regular opportunity for virtual face-to-face discussion, individual guidance. So let's say po, after i-demonstrate ni teachers yung mga learning objectives, learning competencies with his or her lesson, so finally, yung students naman yung magko-conduct ng kanilang competencies. And then, since this is asynchronous, the teacher will guide his or her students. Mas madali nang i-guide kasi nakikita live online. Okay? Then, we have the disadvantages of synchronous. So what are those disadvantages? We have the rigid schedule, and then we have also the technical difficulties. So rigid schedule, the defining characteristic of this learning experience is its adherence to a set schedule. Lectures and class discussion will take place at established meeting times. So if the flexibility is the number one reason that you've decided to go online route, or yung parents or students, make sure you can manage your synchronous learning responsibility around your schedule. So let's say po, the teacher already oriented the student that they should come in before the schedule time for their online class. Dapat po masunod siya kasi kakain po tayo ng internet connection. Okay? And then, hindi naman po lahat ay may unli internet o naka-fiber. So, dapat sumunod sa schedule. Pre, hotel lobbies, you're probably always carrying a laptop and always searching for a wireless signal. So, in this time of pandemic, so wala naman po yan sigurado. Sigurado ang mga estudyante po natin ay nasa kanilang mga bahay. But, with the technical difficulties, ano yun? So, ito yung spotty internet. Okay, so hindi natin minsan naasahan, biglang umulan. Kahit nasabi mo, no data ka pang iyong internet o naka-only fiber ka, meron talaga pa rin na hindi mo inaasahang pangyayari. Nawawala yung signal dahil sa panahon. Okay? And another, we have crashing hard drives. Okay? So, maybe because dahil sa palaging ginagamit yung mga gadgets, desktops, or laptops. So, nagka-crash yung mga hard drives. So, that is one of the technical difficulties. And, of course, dying batteries. So, syempre, nakafocus ka sa iyong online class, synchronous class, minsan, hindi mo namamalayan. Or if the students, they are using gadgets like smartphones, tablets, okay, so syempre, alam naman natin ang kanyang consumable battery. It will take 2 hours or 2.5 hours. Hindi po siya masyadong nagtatagal. And minsan, di po ba nag-iinit? So, that is one of the difficulties in the synchronous. Okay, next. We have, so kung kanina may synchronous, ngayon naman ay mayroong asynchronous learning. So, learning happens on your schedule. So, the teacher or your professor will provide materials for reading lectures or viewing. So, you have the ability to access and satisfy these requirements within the flexible time frame. So, just like what I've shown you earlier, yung katulad na ginagamit ng Smart, okay? So, ang gamit nila is asynchronous, wherein there is already uploaded or recorded videos in order for the teachers and learners to study the lesson. So, with the asynchronous, so these are the advantages. So, flexibility. Learning will typically revolve around materials that can be accessed on your own time. So, though often within self-time frame like a week or two. So, self-guided interactive learning materials, modules, or pre-recorded demonstration of technical vocational learning competencies. Now, ito ang maganda dyan. Kung ikaw ay isang technical vocational teachers at meron ka mga previous recorded video na activities ng iyong estudyante, so pwede mo na rin siyang maging example or to be uploaded and to be sent to your learners or students. We're going to demonstrate their competencies. So next, we have the pacing. So it is typically self-guided, read at your pace, view on your time, complete based on your understanding. So to train in a certain pace, the students can take a bit more time to absorb new information and knowledge. So dito, dahil siya ay merong pre-recorded video, okay? Like, so let's say si teachers nag-send ng video through the group chat of his or her learners. So pwede yung ma-download ng mga bata. Okay? So once it is downloaded, hindi na kailangan gumamit ulit ng bata ng kanilang internet connection in order for them to view the video recorded. So from that, pwedeng balik-balikan ng mga estudyante yung inyong recorded video demonstration on their learning competencies. Okay? Next, we have the affordability. So countless opportunities for learning that carry a lower price tag because they can be administrated without a day-to-day instruction. So minimum oversight and therefore minimal expense. So dahil na-download na o pwedeng ma-download ng inyong mga learners ang inyong recorded video of your mga learning competencies ng mga bata na pwede nyo ituro sa kanila. So, hindi masyadong magagastusan ang mga parents and students sa pag-load ng kanilang mga gadgets. Kasi mahal din po yung palaging nagpapaload. At saka on this time of pandemic, talagang mahirap po sa atin ang magkaroon ng internet connection, or kung hindi ka naman talaga or kung ang internet connection mo ay merong data cap. Okay? And then, with the asynchronous, so this is the challenge also for the teachers. Kasi, di po ba, although that you have the recorded video of your learning competencies in the technical vocational, the question is how the students will be able to do that competencies in their home. Sigurado ngayon po ang lagi ninyong tanong, paano naman yung mga bata? Oo nga, nagbigay ako ng recorded video of their learning competencies. Kaso nga lang, we have learners na walang gamit sa bahay. Okay? So, kaya nga po, ang ating kagawaran ng edukasyon ay gumagawa ng iba't ibang paraan para makasunod ang ating estudyante sa bagong normal o sa ating ginagalawang crisis. So, if the learners, ang question, paano kung ang learners na panood nga yung recorded video ng teachers, pero hindi naman naisagawa sa bahay o hindi naman naisagawa ng bata? Kaya nga po, merong pinapili sa bata na meron di po ba tayong ibibigay na printed modules. So aside from having the recorded video for the technical vocational learning competencies, they have also their printed learning modules na pwedeng mapag-aralan ng estudyante sa kanilang bahay. Prior that they are oriented with the time frame that they will going to study that kind of printed materials or modules. Hindi naman po syempre po pwede na yung ating printed materials o modules na ibibigay sa ating estudyante ay lifetime na nasa kanila, di po ba? So just like in a normal classroom, di po ba, meron tayong binibigay na time frame sa ating mga estudyante on how they will going to submit or to finish their performance. So, ganun pa rin dito sa ating ginagalawang sitwasyon. Okay? And then, so, kung merong advantages of using the asynchronous, meron din po tayong disadvantages. And what are those advantages? So, we have the isolation and the risk of apathy. So, what is the difference between the isolation and the risk of apathy? So, when we say isolation, so social media and email simply can't deliver the same kind of intellectual energy as real-time interaction. So, this atmosphere is also a less collaborative one. So, since recorded yung video na demonstration ng isang teachers for the technical vocational learning competencies, ang nangyayari, parang di po ba ang mga estudyante natin, kahit nga nasa classroom tayo, minsan hindi natin maiiwasan na merong hindi motivated to listen, pero kung ikaw ay face-to-face, nagagawa mo ng paraan on how you will going to motivate your learners to listen doon sa iyong klase. Kapag ganito naman na asynchronous, di ba? So, how you will know that your students na talaga po ay pinag-aaralan yung iyong recorded video o yung printed materials na binigay sa kanya. So, intellectual energy as real-time interaction. And then, we have the risk of apathy. So, while working in a self-guided environment,
sounds really great and empowering. So it's important to be honest with yourself. So when we say risk apathy, the reality is that some learners benefit best from access to clearly stated expectation, immediate feedback, and to an extent, a watchful eye. Dahil hindi natin sila nakikita. Di po ba? So unlike with the Synchronous, kapag may nakita ka, dahil lahat ng video ng iyong estudyante, you tell them to show their camera, o dapat naka-on yung camera nila, nakikita mo kung sino yung nakikinig. And then, di po ba, sinasaway natin or we reminded our students to listen. Okay? So dito sa asynchronous, hindi natin nakikita kung ano yung ginagawa ng estudyante habang sila ay nanonood ng inyong recorded technical vocational learning competencies. Okay? And then, what else? Pag sa synchronous kasi of the technical vocational learning competencies, okay? So, syempre, bago with the learning objectives that the teachers will deliver to the learners, syempre po, i-inform ahead of time ni teachers ang kanyang learners kung meron ba silang available materials on their home. So that the teachers will determine kung sino-sino ba yung estudyante na pa pwede makasunod during the online class or during the asynchronous learning. Okay? So, syempre, hindi mo po pwedeng biglain yung estudyante mo na, okay, class, pakikuha yung mga materials na kailangan natin sa iyong klase. So, syempre, dapat ahead of time, ini-inform ng teachers sa estudyante para sa kanilang materials needed. Or para ma-inform din si teachers na merong mga estudyante na walang materials, ano yung po pwede niyang magawa para doon. Okay? So, yun po kasi problema natin. Hindi lahat ng estudyante ay may mga materials for the technical vocational learning competencies. Diba? Especially kung ikaw ay let's say kung ikaw ay sa CSS, Computer System Servicing, hindi naman lahat ng estudyante ay merong 2 computers wherein they can have a networking, ina-network nila kanilang computer sa bahay. So, ilan lang po sa ating mga estudyante meron doon. So, kung wala, anong gagawin ni teacher? So, pwede gawin ni teacher, di po ba? You recorded those students na perform na kanilang learning competencies during your synchronous class. And then, for those students na hindi perform their learning competencies, yun yung bibigyan nyo ng chance after the crisis. Okay? Siyempre naman, nag-review po tayo na matatapos na itong pandemic na to at para din mas mapadali, lalong-lalo na sa mga technical vocational teachers and students na masagawa yung kanilang learning competencies or technical vocational learning competencies. Okay? And then, with the use of the online learning with printed materials or modules, mas madali sa estudyante. Kasi, let's say, they need to restudy the lesson. O halimbawa, nakalimutan ng bata. Because of their printed modules o materials, diba, ma-review nila yung lesson nila kahit na wala yung recorded video. Okay po. Bakit? Kasi may mga pictures naman po inside with the printed modules. So, doon naman po, since ang ating mga technical vocational students or learners ay from 4 to 6 at ang specialization naman ay 9 to 12. So, from that pictures or images, di ba, mas naiintindihan na rin ng estudyante yung gagawin o pagagawa ng teachers na technical vocational learning competencies. Kasi yun po lagi ang question, paano nga ba how the learners will be able to submit or have their technical vocational learning competencies. Wala nga silang gamit. So, yun po ang benefits of having their printed modules or materials. So, ito yung challenge sa ating mga technical vocational teachers, lalong-lalo na yung mga walang specialization na wala sa MELCs. Yun yung ginawa po natin during the month of May up to this day. Okay? So, alam ko naman na marami sa ating technical vocational teachers na gumagawa talaga ng paraan. Now, for the private schools, so every teacher, so they have this flash drive na yung kanilang recorded video of their teachers, nakasave na sa flash drive, tapos yun yung ibibigay sa mga estudyante. Yun ang ginagawa ng mga ibang private school. Okay? So with the DepEd, we have DepEd TV channel. Okay? So may ICT po tayo doon, teacher. Okay? Si Teacher Marco Paulo, na pwede mag-demonstrate through DepEd TV channel ng mga technical vocational learning competencies. Okay? Now, other specialization for the technical vocational, so magkakaroon ng recorded video ang ating mga kapwa guro with printed modules or materials. Okay? And then, with the asynchronous, ito naman talaga is nababagay din sa mga estudyante na they having a hard time na magkaroon o makipag-interact with the use of Google Meet, other online platform. So, ito po yung para sa kanila, asynchronous. May recorded video, da-download nila, and then they have also these printed materials or okay po. And this time of pandemic or this time of crisis, let us help each other on how we will deliver our learning or technical vocational learning competencies sa ating mga estudyante. Hindi hadlang ang ganitong sitwasyon para hindi maibigay sa mga bata ang kaalaman na dapat ay maibahagi sa kanila. Okay po? So, I will have this presentation, so online learning with printed modules or materials. Okay, so big check siya. Kasi nga, mas okay siya sa mga estudyante na walang internet connectivity. Or merong internet connectivity pero hindi siya unli. Okay? Kasi ganun din naman din sa teacher. Hindi lahat ng teacher ay unli internet o unli fiber internet. So, karamihan sa atin ay may data cap. So, naglo-load lang tayo ng ating mga prepaid home wifi. Or meron tayong ginagawa, o meron pang ibang internet connection sa ating mga bahay. So, with that, so I will end my presentation with a quote according to Henry Brooks, Adam. So, teachers affect eternity. No one can tell where their influence stops. So, I remember one of my professors, so sa CPTE, tinanong niya kami noon na how we will define teachers. Paano ba namin i-define si teacher? Okay. So, ako, ang sinagot ko doon ay eternity. Okay. So, hindi po ito yung exact na sinagot ko sa tanong ng aming professor. Napakagaling nitong professor na to. Para siyang walking encyclopedia, walking atlas, marami pang iba kasi yung mga dates, saka lahat ng pwede mong itanong sa kanya, masasagot na talaga. Siya ay Dean ng Graduate School ng Bulacan State University. Thank you, Sir Dr. Gaspar. Naging professor ko po siya. Okay po. So, na-very good ako dito ni Sir kasi sinagot ko, teachers is eternity. Okay po. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Ma'am Michelle, May Orosio, and Ma'am CM Franco, and Ma'am Kat. Tapos, don't forget po to follow me in my YouTube channel, Mary Ann Valentino. So, please subscribe, like and subscribe. Okay po. And siyempre po, thank you din po kay Teacher Zai. Okay, so si Teacher Zai po ay meron din pong YouTube channel. So, pwede po kayong pumunta, just type Teacher Zai. Siyempre po, mauna muna si Mary Ann Valentino. Then, after po nun, si Teacher Zai. Okay? Thank you sa sister-in-law ko, si Team Renz Perez Valentino. May pinahiram siya sa akin. And kay Cheryl Valentino, and of course, to my husband, Eduardo. Thank you. Ma'am Michelle?
Thank you very much, Ma'am Mary Ann. So we will proceed now po to our question and answer po. Okay, the first question po, here po is from Ma'am Wendy Ocampo. What are the performance tasks that we can give to our students in our class in TLE Cookery? Now we are in distance learning.
Okay. So the performance learning task, like what I mentioned earlier, it must be based with the Depth and Order Memorandum series of 2015. Ito yung most essential learning competencies. Now, kung yung cookery po ay wala kang makikita cookery sa MELS, so doon pa rin po tayo magpa-follow sa ating curriculum guide. Kung ano yung learning tasks or learning objectives or learning competencies na nasa curriculum guide, doon pa rin po tayo magbe-base. I hope I answered that question.
Okay po, thank you po, Ma'am Mary Ann. Next question po is from Ma'am Faye Garcia. Can you recommend online resources suitable for TVL courses po?
Online, come again, ma'am?
Can you recommend online resources suitable po for TVL courses?
Okay. If you are in the higher education, it depends upon on the administration. Kasi we as teachers, hindi po natin ma-require sa estudyante yung online or asynchronous learning. Kasi it will be depend pa rin sa ating mga students. Kung iyon ay i-require natin sa estudyante, paano naman yung wala? Okay? But we in the Department of Education, nagkaroon po ng survey kung saan yung estudyante, kung ano yung pipiliin po nilang blended learning. So, doon sa may internet, pwede po sila online with printed modules. Doon naman po sa walang internet, sa printed modules po talaga. So, to answer for that questions, depende po sa inyong estudyante at depende rin po sa inyong school administration or division office.
Thank you po, Ma'am Mary Ann. And for our last question po from Mr. Edwin Gallardo. Good morning po. In TLE class, how can we evaluate or monitor our pupils if they are the one who makes their output?
Okay. If the learners choose to asynchronous, okay, so since it can have an interaction, so di po ba bago po kayo mag-grade sa estudyante ninyo, meron po tayong rubrics. Okay? So, with our situation, so doon dapat sa rubrics, naka-base pa rin yung ating situation. So, doon po ninyo ibe-base yung kanilang evaluation sa ibibigay ninyong rubrics. Now, paano kung asynchronous? Baka yun po tinatanong ni sir. Kung asynchronous, pinili ni estudyante, paano nila may evaluate ang estudyante? So, like what I've said, di po ba, you recorded those students na nakapag-perform during your synchronous learning. And for those students na hindi nakapagbigay ng kanilang performance because they have no internet connections or they cannot upload a video or they have no materials in their home, so the Department of Education still, okay, please the teachers na to have time for the students in order for them to submit their performance. So, yeah, katulad sinabi ko po kanina, hindi naman po siguro forever itong pandemic. So, after the pandemic, pwede pong balikan ng estudyante yung ganong learning task.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Mary, for answering the questions of our viewers. So before we finally end our session, may I ask po to give our viewers your last reminders po.
Okay, so in this amidst pandemic, I am salute to all teachers, mapa-higher education man yan or sa basic education. Kasi ito yung aming parang this is our time to shine. Di po ba? Gaano ka-flexible ang mga teachers with this kind of situation? Si teachers, madiskarte. Okay, walang teacher na hindi madiskarte. Lahat magagawa niyo ng paraan to deliver especially the technical, vocational learning competencies to our learners or students despite of our crisis.
There we have it. So in behalf of Ibal Group Incorporated, I would like to thank you, Ma'am Mary Ann, for giving us this insightful learning session with us this morning. It is an honor to have you with us today. And of course, to all our Kabibal viewers, all thanks to you for your continuous patronage to our daily learning session. And muli, maraming salamat. Magkita-kita po tayo mamayang hapon para po sa ating Reading Literacy series in YouTube po. Maraming salamat and have a nice day po. Goodbye!